arguably the best player in Apex Legends history with one of the most illustrious competitive Apex Legends ranked careers, ImperialHal, the TSM star, the CEO of Apex Legends, is who we are going to be giving you tips on today, analyzing their gameplay. 5 rules that Hal abuses, most players never use, and I'm going to teach you how to apply that to your own game. This is supposed to be edutainment, educational, and fun, and this is one of the only times you're going to hear cussing on my channel. Let's introduce ImperialHal.
I got one. Don't res me. Don't let him res. I'm gonna open the door for you. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up.
He's one.
RPR, you stupid fuck. Let me open the door for you.
Holy shit,
He's one,
you are
bro. I killed him.
actually dumb.
Dude,
You're actually
shut
dumb.
up. Horizon's one and then Blowdown's cracked. Shut the fuck up, Hal. I was shooting him through the door.
So I just have to say that this is pretty hilarious. And one of the things that I wanted to introduce Hal on was this clip, because this gives you an idea of his personality and who he is. He's outspoken. He's sometimes outrageous, but in a fun, lovable way. It's why he's one of the most popular Twitch streamers and creators in Apex Legends. And he averages more viewers than most people could even dream about. Now, you guys love this video about Timmy. A lot of you had some interesting comments. We're not going to get too into it, but most of you in the comments section are loving this series. So we're going to continue it on with a game from Hal that I think is going to be very clear. And to start it off, we're going to break it down into sections. So without further ado, let's get into it. But this section is going to be called the first tip. It's called clinical. Hal, instead of being called the CEO, in my opinion, is the Terminator. And I'm going to explain why. Because his play is unlike Asu, and it is unlike It's Timmy like we have seen before. So we're going to analyze this from the perspective of, number one, Hal, that he is the Terminator. And that's right, we're going to see a little bit of this notepad coming back in. But let's get back into the gameplay. Incredible. Not quite, but efficient. And that's what I really want to get clear to you guys as well. What you're going to see doesn't look like Ace and Timmy playing. It looks like Hal playing, and that distinction is really, really important, because I think this will actually show you guys a lot more about what you can do in these games. Easy armor swap there into the Peacekeeper. But still chaos. It's a good shot. Woo! Woo! Woo, that's a trade. That is a trade. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw it right there. It almost doesn't get better than that. So as we talk a little bit about this, I'm going to play this off of mute while you guys can watch this back. One of the greatest things about this sequence for Hal is that there are no crazy movements. There is no insane level of grappling play, except for that last clip, which was absolutely beautiful. He's just changing high ground, low ground. He's changing angles. And to be very, very clear, this is not that level of flashy climbing or 360ing that we see with Ace and sometimes with Timmy. Hal is a very deliberate player, and that's why I call him the Terminator, because he has a mission. He is going to eliminate targets, and he's not going to waste any effort. And most players, this is the first tip that they do not use, is there's so much wasted effort and wasted movement that they're putting into their game that they're not being as efficient as they need to be. One shot, one peek, one poke is all you have to have in order to win a duel. But a lot of people get out here thinking, well, I didn't slide hop, I didn't tap strafe off this wall bounce, therefore I'm not able to get this kill. Hal easily navigates these situations by doing the basics, and this is why he's so enticing to play. Now, one thing you'll notice as we break down this clip and as we go into the other parts of this video, of which there are 5, this is a competitive Apex Legends player. This is one of the best in ranked and in competitive history. He has won more almost than any other person. And so he doesn't have to prove himself. He isn't about pub stomping. He's taking the ranked gameplay style into Apex Legends. And that's why I wanted to start here with number 1. He is the Terminator. No wasted movement or effort. This is what Hal is great at, and you'll watch this as we continue. The second tip that I want to talk to you guys about is cover. Hal is a master at finding cover and using cover in the right way. The 2 pieces of cover that I want to bring to this awareness as we watch these clips in a second are head glitches, repositioning, high ground. This is the basic fundamental essence of cover. Obviously, repositioning so you have something in between you and the enemy, but also taking high ground so that you could see them and they can't see you. This is one of the biggest tenets of high ground. It's that you can choose to engage or choose to disengage on people who are on the low ground. And low ground people have to wait for the high ground people to peek. Head glitches as well as what you will see. And this I just wrote, there's no ego. Taking cover doesn't mean you are worse than anybody else. What it means is he's not demonstrating that he has to go out into the open to try to kill you, and he's just going to take the smartest fight possible. It's just business, baby. That's what I like about Hal. Let's go to it, because at this point, you're going to start to see him use cover in this fight. We'll break it down. A little bit of pause action here, because I do want to walk about it. Okay, now notice these 2 little moments of Hal. 1, the first shot, he's got cover here, and he's got cover here. Secondly, he starts to engage, and every time he is not ready to shoot or wants to reset the fight so that he can get maybe a better timing on his back and forth, you're going to see him dip into cover. Even this little moment. Look, he didn't run out. He misses the shot. He's in cover, misses the shot, then runs back into cover, holsters his weapon so he gets the extra movement speed, ready for a slide jump, goes into it, brings the Peacekeeper out, and knowing where he wants to go, is ready to fire, hit 38, break shield, but also press E, close the door, and immediately start healing, putting it into an advantageous position. Now, if they didn't have an arc star, that would have been a great position for Hal. They couldn't burst through the door. But let's take a look at how he uses cover here. Immediately, this is a player who has won hundreds of thousands of dollars in Apex Legends. This is somebody who has accomplished more than most people will in their life in any competitive sphere of anything in this game. And he's still acting like he's afraid to get shot. All I'm saying is this is why he's so successful, because it's not about the ego. It's not about, I'm so good, let me stand out here and just 1v1 you. Even here, he's got a head glitch going on to where his head is exposed only when he wants to. Notice the crouch each and every time after he shoots. So he's exposing his head to shoot and then getting it back. So there's very little parts of his body that you have to shoot at. He's minimizing his target, making yours bigger. Well, meanwhile, that player's out in the open. Look at this guy. He's just out in the open. Like, you know what I mean? And so this is where a lot of players go wrong. And one thing that Hal abuses, most players never use, the fact that cover is your friend. It should always be a part of your strategy. Even here, the visuals he's getting, because this is what you have to do at the highest level of Apex. He is showing you exactly what that looks like at the highest level of Apex. Another bonus that I want to get into right after this, see if you can pick it out, is something I mentioned with Timmy as well. Yet he wasn't using this. Again, back to the cover. Beautiful shot. Actually, Bates using cover. And now, because he gets the win, and look at this, immediately gets the win, he's right back into cover knowing someone else is coming around. This is a tough shot. And he mentioned something earlier about respecting this Bloodhound player. Crouch, cover, peek. Crouch, cover, peek. Crouch, cover, peek. Now that I'm mentioning it, I'm sure you all are seeing it very, very obviously. And the thing about pros is that they're so good, they don't even know that they're doing this anymore, which is why this series exists, by the way. And hopefully you guys have liked this video. Leave this up. I don't know why it's not getting clicked on very much. You guys are watching it like crazy watch time. The other one on Timmy's starting to get picked up. Hopefully this does as well, but definitely hope you guys are starting to figure out what we're doing here. It's some good stuff. Most pros can't teach this, because they do it so instinctively. It's like asking Messi, how do you kick a soccer ball? Hey, Ronaldo, how do you head a ball into the goal? I mean, what do you mean? It's second nature at that point. All right, so now I want to bring in the third thing that he does. And this one I think is really, really important. He is a purposeful player. There is no doubt in my mind that what you guys are about to watch and what you've seen is somebody who is on his purpose. And this is where he has a difference in terms of what he has done in his career competitively to what he is doing in this pub game. Because most people, when they look at pubs, they love this flashy play. Hal, Al, maybe, the song is You Can Call Me Al, so I call people Al sometimes. Hal, my bad, brother. All choices have a purpose. And so every single thing that he does is purposeful. I'm going to demonstrate this in one moment in this clip coming up right now because I think you guys are going to see it as well. At this point, he's got 10 kills, by the way. That grenade was to deter someone above him, which is on this ledge. Now he's got the grapple to go and push that player above him. And we saw him make this play, but here's a special moment. Can you see it? Oh, it's called clinical for a reason. I want to know if you guys can pick it all out, but I'm going to replay that one back. Oh my gosh. What we see here is simply perfection. You couldn't really have made this moment that much better and wasted less time. So he grapples up here, and he's got the shotgun out. He's ready to fire. He hits a good crack, hits the 76 headshot, and she's basically done. Again, still working with no heavy mag, and no scope, no HCOG, nothing. This is crazy. But now what's happened during that is he's actually realized that there's a Gibraltar ultimate coming. And most people in playing Apex, you know this. This is what these big red dots. So he realized there's a Gibraltar ultimate coming. So I have a timer, how fast I can kill this person. Now I know the Gibraltar ultimate is about to start raining down. What do? There's still people underneath me. How do I continue this fight? How do I not take damage? How do I not make my play predictable? He jumps down to the second ledge, turns around, reloads his weapon as he's doing it, and now avoids the Gibraltar ultimate and is now ready to attack the Caustic, who is most likely expecting, since that Gibraltar ultimate was thrown, that the person up there is going to start taking damage. Or they'll at least be down there or inside. Not going to be right there. And the ADS movement speed, I've talked about it in my videos. Wingman gives you basically 100% movement speed, whether you're aiming down sights or not. Makes it really easy to go back and forth in your 1v1 fights. And is a high burst weapon. And this is crucial. One thing I'll mention, very, very high burst. Looks for the armor swap. Doesn't have it, though. And so now he's purposeful. He doesn't have the armor swap. A lot of people go, okay, what do I do now? Hal decides that this is my plan. This is something to remember. A bad plan executed well is better than a perfect plan executed poorly. He doesn't care whether this plan might work or not. He's got a plan, and he's going for it, which is one of the reasons why he's so successful. Doesn't get the armor swap, but he's fighting out in the open because he knows he can get the first shot. The second he takes a little damage, back in. Quickly onto the reload. And you know he wants to heal here because he doesn't have a lot of health, barely 100 health. He's mentioning he wants to get out of there, looking for another armor swap, but he misses that first shot, sees that someone's going to be coming, and so his timing is of the level of understanding that, all right, I missed my window to get that kill and get the armor swap. Luckily for him, he gets a shot right there, and that ends up actually working really well for him. Two of those players who were very low also end up fighting each other. He disengages well enough, and that's exactly how he takes it in. So remember, Hal doing really, really well on all of his choices. Mainly, all choices have purpose. 4. This is a big one, guys. And I want to give you 2 bonus ones as well. One thing to really understand is that you have to learn how to manage chaos, okay? You have to learn how to manage chaos as a player. What I think Hal is a fantastic at is understanding, and this is a bonus for, is how to manage chaos. It's disproven here that all it is that makes you successful in Apex is movement skill, the Apex stuff, and that it's just talent. Oh, I can't be Apex or Timmy. There's no way to get. He's not doing anything that you guys can't actually do, whether it's mouse and keyboard or controller. There's no fanciness here. It is all clinical. So this is one of the big keys of why they're so successful. They're managing chaos really well. It's about awareness of the overall situation. A tactician in war, expectations like a scientist, knowing what's most likely to happen, and also knowing how you should navigate those expected scenarios. He's doing that really, really well here. That's why Hal is such a beast. He also recognizes his advantage and the skill of other players. You saw him mention once about the Bloodhound. You'll see it in just a moment here in the video of how he's really quick to recognize if someone does something that puts them in a league above. I'd say Hal comes into every game thinking he's better than every other player. However, there are moments where you will notice, and you can watch the video back or you can keep watching, where he's going to say, that player could kill me. He's going to mention it out loud. Recognizing that allows you to act accordingly. Not everyone is as bad as you think, even for a pro, that they can't just win a lucky 1v1 or come up and actually out-trade occasionally. It happens. And, of course, realizing that respect quickly is a key. Number 4, though, here's what we're going to leave it on because this is where I want you guys to watch the next clip. Hal is aggressive at buying and selling real estate. I'm gonna let you guys watch this clip here. We're gonna start at 5:56, and then we're gonna get into that. So let's leave it at the statement, and I want you guys to see whether you understand what I'm saying. A couple of nice wingman shots there for sure. Back into the shield bat. Arcstar's coming through as well. Again, no crazy weapons. Checks chat. A little bit of a multitask. Also looking for the armor swaps just in case he has one on reserve. Making plans for the future. Another thing we didn't mention. We'll talk about that. He's one of the best players to do that as well. Because he does have to think he is an in-game leader for TSM. Big headshots there. And the wingman can do that. It's a great poke weapon. That's a Watson. He recognizes that. So he's got the 86 damage. Now a Bangalore ultimate artillery strike is coming in. And he decides to go push the Watson. Beautiful finish there. And now whose generator is it? It's Hal's generator. He's slowly getting a little bit of that shielding back up. And he's got another one. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, did you miss it? If you did, you missed brilliance. Because that was one of the fastest armor swaps you could have had. If any less... He had about 5 health to his name before he really did that one. And look at this. He sees the Rampart coming in here. Woo! Missed the PK. He smells trouble.
That's a fucking dangerous man, bro.
And he recognizes it. Hits the shield bat. Respects that engagement. Knows he wouldn't win it based on the Rampart. Opens the door to the left to trick her out. She looking left. He looks right. The old switcheroo. I mean, what else do you have to say? This is exactly why I mentioned the point, buying and selling real estate. If you look here, the second that he recognizes not only is the Bangalore ultimate going to hit, but I've done 86 damage onto the Watson. That's the key. He knows that it's time to commit. And this is how competitive Apex Legends is played. This is my other real tip on this. Competitive Apex Legends is played with in mind that people have positions, and the better positions win you games more often in the late game circle. For instance, this bridge might be a great position with the circle ending because you have high ground, you could duck under these stairs, and maybe that's where the circle is going to end. So people are fighting to hold this spot. If you burst them, if you have a chance to push, Hal is the one in-game leading the rest of his teammates, understanding their abilities, how it uses to create a situation that's successful, and actually saying, we got to push here. We got to take this spot. Now, that armor swap, that's just a thing of beauty. You can't really do what he's doing here without an armor swap, and at the end of this video, in just a moment, we're going to teach you how to 1v3, and he's going to show you exactly how to do it, and I'm going to give you my 5 tips on how to 1v3, which I've already made a video on. It's already got about a couple 100,000 views, so if you guys want to watch it more in depth, you can see it there, or you can just watch this. The second he sees the Rampart get hit, it's time to take that real estate. He's aggressive, like a normal real estate market and real estate agent. This is my territory. You've got a better spot than me. I want to take it from you, and this is the level of confidence that you need to play competitive Apex Legends. This is how the game is played. This is why Hal's play looks different than Timmy and Asu, who might be running away from players, being more effective manipulating movement and timing and positioning, and yet Hal is clinical. He's like, you've got what I want. I'm going to take it from you. And you got to respect a player who can do that. 827, this is where I think Hal really puts a lot of this together. You could see him taking cover. You could see him having purposeful play. Right now, he's finally got his extended mag and all that, and he's on 18 kills, ladies and gentlemen. He finds the kill. Look at this. What are we going to say? Taking real estate? Well, when he has a chance to do so, you absolutely know that's exactly what he's going to do. No hesitation. I like this high ground. I like the cover that I have. I can play in front of me now from this building, so I'm going to take it from you. And this goes in to translate to where he's so successful in game. He's going to get that trade. The second he starts getting shot, it's not a question. He doesn't ego battle. He goes straight back into cover. And this is the tenets of a high player starting to become clearer and clearer to you guys, I can imagine. They aren't actually going out there standing in the middle of the grass, the savannah, looking at a pride of lions and going, "Come at me with a spear. I'm that good. I'll take you all down." No, they die, and so would they if they stood in here in the middle of Fragment City, just asking everyone to shoot them and having a Spitfire in their hand, going, "No, you're not gonna take me down. I'm ImperialHal." It doesn't happen, and I think you guys are starting to realize that now. What I like about this too He understands exactly where he needs to move. He's going to take a beautiful angle here. A lot of people don't take these awkward angles where maybe it doesn't feel natural to stand on that. It feels like you don't have a lot of space. You're exposed. Hal ready to commit. He hears the run, sees the Wraith. And this is another thing. Look at this. Just stand still. I think too many people don't stand still in these fights. And this is one of those things. Somebody asked me to say, talk about the nuances of how they're actually fighting. Well, look right here. He knows the Wraith is coming down. Most players expect, if that's Ace, what would he expect? To see you come up the stairs, turn around, and fire R99 full clip on you. But Hal knows maybe that's the expectation. So he does the counter bait, which is, I'm just going to stand still. You think I'm coming up the stairs? I'm right here ready for you to peek. Look, she peeks again. So it's like he knows, so he's going to counter peek, and that's intelligence, and that's understanding where players are. He gets 2 shots, 90 damage, cracks the blue, cracks the purple, and is able to finish it because she can't engage now. And that's why Hal is so good. So let's get into 1v3s because this is how to 1v3. I'm glad you guys stayed. This is truly how to 1v3. Hal ends up going and getting about 22 kills after all that. And it becomes time for him to go and try to win this game. And he runs into basically a 3-stack. And I want to give you guys the tenets of 1v3ing. I want to show you a little bit about why he 1v3s this way. And so let's break down the actual tenets of 1v3 because they're very important. They're very, very important. Here it is right now. Let's put it on this little board right here. 1v3. Here it is. Isolate your targets. Always take a 1v1 and a 1v3. Never expose all angles of your body. Always have at least some part of you in cover or behind cover potentially. 3, force decisions onto enemies. Do not be the one having to make decisions. Make them make decisions to get rid of you that force them into, number 1, isolation, and 2, not exposing all of your body. Number 4, use high burst, low time to kill weapons. If you don't know what those are, stick around. I will show you what they are in just a moment. And of course, commit when you find an opening. Means 1v3s mean you're against 3 players. Understand that. You're not at an advantage, so when you do find the opening, use it. Let's go ahead and watch and see if he can showcase this for us.
I didn't res because the time is killed, bro. Like,
people giving him grief for not rezzing. Like, really? This guy has 22 kills and almost 4,000 damage? You're going to give him grief for not rezzing? Boy, oh boy. So there's a team in this building. He's currently facing one, already switches angles, and he has a chance to climb. This is, again, a very competitive-oriented angle. He knows exactly how to get there. This is a type of building people hold in high-level ALGS all the time. Now, he's got 3. What does he do? See ya. I'm not going to fight. I need to isolate these fights. You're starting to pick up on it? I'm going to isolate these fights. There's no chance to win that. A lot of players get mad when they die there. I'm not as good as Hal. I'm not as good as Ace. That's because they don't fight that. They're not special, but this is why they are special. They're not so special they can do these things that you can't do in Apex, but that's a beautiful shot. So what he does now, we talk about it with Ace. He's isolating this fight. Actually, this player makes a decision. They say, I'm going to chase him, and he forced that decision because he got away. That player then died. He isolated the fight, made him make a decision. That was beautiful. He's not exposed at this point, although he does get hit by the Arc Star. It doesn't expose. And the enemies are now kind of in an odd spot. They've got to now decide to get our Pathfinder up. And if they do, they're exposing themselves. Now it's a 1v1 because one person's got to do it. He gets the Pathfinder down right again. So now Hal is in the driver's seat. And here's the other one. He's got high ground. Look at this. He's got high ground, and so he can isolate these fights when he wants to. He sees 2 players fighting. One person comes up. He has a Peacekeeper ready. And he's just fighting where he wants to. Like, I want to fight now and peek. Great. You guys can't shoot me because I'm just using that. And, oh, the grapple of all time. Right into the building. Right in the zone. And this is just that macro game sense that Hal brings to the table. It's a beautiful thing to watch. They have to leave their teammate because he can't crawl and they can't get him up. And now, isolating more fights. We're going to get into the commitment as well because he hasn't had to commit too heavy on any of these players. But he's climbing the top roof. And here's the rampart. She tries to set up here, but it's not going to work. Why? Because there's nothing protected by that angle. There's no value gotten for her. You can see the attempt, but what they're doing wrong is they're isolating themselves. They want to take both approaches to try to finish him off. But he's actually the one, just by being on the high ground, that is winning this fight. They've got the thermite burst. He's trying to make her play more predictable, but he hears that, again, they're doing their job for him, his job for him. They isolated a 1v1, and guess what? Boom. Second, it becomes almost a 2v1 where he's still recovering from that first fight. He just backs off, goes high ground. What you going to do, Rampart? What you going to do? 1v1s, guys. He's not fighting 3 people at a time. You can't 1v3 fighting 3 people at a time. They are decent skill in Apex Legends. And that is how ImperialHal became not only the CEO, but the Terminator, the clinical player of Apex Legends. And if you want to know what high TTK weapons are, well, let me show you right here. They are R99, PK, they are Wingman, Eva. These types of things are what
Those
make
guys
you
were in my ass.
these types of things are what make you an actual high tier player in terms of TTK. Wingman, Eva, R99, PK. It varies if you want to play ranked or competitive. Those roles and zones dictate different weapons. You'll see G7 scouts, poking weapons, charge rifle to build up Evo to make sure you can fight while staying in your building. But in terms of these types of fights, you need high TTK, low TTK weapons, low time to kill, meaning they burst and they kill very quickly so you can commit and kill an opponent right when you need to. Thanks for watching, guys. Never give up, never stop gaming. Let me know who you want me to cover in the comment section below, and I'll see you all next time.